Okay, so I wanted to do a video with the herd this morning talking about listening to our cycles and rhythms and our capacity. There's been a theme for me witnessing clients in my coaching practice. And these are women who have been coaching or leading for years, that they're finding themselves again in a space of burnout. There is a connection point as well in terms of their energy levels and revenue, meaning things have dried up or there is a flow that has trickled. And I wanted to share something in terms of a dysfunction and also something I've learned from my horses. So I've learned a lot observing my herd in terms of what it looks like to really honor our rhythms and our energy levels and how to manage that. So horses as a prey animal, if they were going to be dysfunctional with their energy, meaning that they didn't rest or they didn't create time for stillness, that's a dead horse in the wild, right? They won't have the energy to flee from a predator. Each horse in the herd is responsible for their individual needs. And in doing so, they actually then protect the needs of the herd. Because a horse in a herd that is depleted is going to attract a predator, which would put the whole herd at risk. And so there's sort of this, what we witness for human beings as well, where we have to tend to our individual needs to serve the collective. What we don't do well as human beings is listen to create space and rest and connection to our own rhythms of our energy. It just doesn't exist. We have convinced ourselves that depleting ourselves, working hard, burning ourselves out is serving because we think we have to work hard or sacrifice our energy in connection to how we serve and how we build. And if you have been in that pattern, I know that was mine, you will know that that is not sustainable. And it might short-term give you some success, but it's not sustainable and it's not long-term. And so where I wanted to sort of make this connection around our own energy capacity and boundaries and money, because here's the thing, and this is what I've learned. It is connected, because if our energy level and our resources are low, we don't have the capacity to serve more people. We cannot show up for our clients. Excuse my dog. And so we cannot create pathways for our revenue to flow if we don't have the energy. So our energy is really, really important on multiple levels for our own well-being, to have the energy to serve our clients, and to also increase the capacity of what we can hold. And so this was something that I am intimately aware of and have experience with, because when I bought this property and added, you're just seeing a little bit of juggling going on with the horses, a little bit of movement. When I added this place, grew my herd, added another business, it became very clear very quickly that the way that I was operating was not going to sustain the place. I was falling deeper into debt. And I understand being on kind of that roller coaster ride of fear. And so I was terrified if I change how I'm doing things, if I shift how many clients I'm taking on or the structure of that, how am I going to pay for this place? So I was really afraid that if I listened to where I was being asked to take a break, to change the model of my business, to listen to my cycles, that I would not be able to support this place. But the way that I was doing it was not working. My health was crashing. I wasn't creating more revenue. I was stressed out and burnt out, and I was not a happy human. So it takes courage for us to change something radically. The manifestation for me looked like I went from having a pretty high one-on-one practice. So at one point, I think in my highest, I had 22 clients. I was coaching 5 days a week. When I bought this place, then I was also doing retreats, sometimes back to back. I was not creating any rest between that at all. And so I was burnt out constantly. And so the shift for me was I went into doing small groups. I now coach 1 week on, 1 week off. I only do maximum 3 calls a day, and I have 1 to 2 days between retreats. So I've created a lot more space. My revenue has increased. My energy levels increased. I can take on more clients. I started a whole new business, and I'm a happy human because my energy levels are supported. So I wanted to offer that reflection because I know that when we're getting a message of something, how hard it is to listen to it because we're afraid, especially if you have, you're it. So I am a single income with a high overhead. So it was terrifying to me to think about changing things. But I knew at the pace that I was going that I wasn't going to be able to sustain my passion the way that I was operating. So our management of our energy, listening to how we structure our energy, creating spaciousness is critical. It's not a luxury, it's critical. It takes courage to shift that, but I think one of the things that I wanted to empower, and this is, from watching my horses, is the more that I create space, the more that I listen to my energy levels, the greater capacity and abundance that I can create. And then here's the kicker. Nobody is going to manage your energy but you. No one. You have to manage your own energy, which means if you need to restructure how you hold space for your work, you need to do that. If you need to take a time out or retreat to replenish your energy, you need to do that. If you need to set better boundaries in your life, internally and externally, you have to do that. I was speaking with a client who shared with me, she's hiring this big team. You can hire all the people you want to help you, but if you don't tend to your own management and support of your energy, that's not going to do anything. Because if you are depleted and in a cycle of depletion, that's not going to help you being able to serve more, to take on more, to increase your capacity across the board. So it is absolutely critical that you absorb this and shift. And so there's little things. I know it's very overwhelming to begin with. So here's a couple of things to start. First of all, here's an activity that's really easy. If you're somebody that has a practice and finding that it's not supportive of your energy, this is just an exercise that you can do without freaking out about how to change your whole business. But if you really listen to what would feel the most supportive of how I served and created space for my work and my schedule, what would that look like? Just as an exercise. It's an exercise to listen to your energy. Don't worry about the implementation of that just yet. Just focus on what the shift needs to be. The second, how can you start to pay attention to when your energy starts to begin to be depleted so you're not waiting to burn out, and give yourself some recovery time in that moment. So instead of saying, I'll rest later, which that's what I did, by the way, how can you create space for yourself in your life every day to have space and rest now? Waiting till later is not going to fix the problem. It's actually going to create where it's going to be harder for you to recover down the road. If you listen now, you're going to save yourself a crisis somewhere down the line. It is critical. Ignoring your own response and nudge for rest is going to sabotage every single thing you are holding that you think rest is going to create. It's going to, let your clients down, Your business will fall apart, whatever that is. The ignoring of your rest is going to do that. So those are 2 small things that you can do to implement and integrate every single day to start to shift. And then you need to start to empower a different belief system. The more that I create space for myself, the more that I allow myself to rest, the more energy and capacity I will have. And lean into that. It's critical. You will see the impact of that in your own well-being and the energy you have to serve more people, to create your offerings, and then you can create a greater flow of revenue in your life. So it has a benefit across the board. If you are depleted and have low energy, you cannot create at the capacity you desire to and you need to. Okay. Let me know your thoughts, where you needed to land on that. If you have sort of questions and comments on this, or you need help, this is a big piece of what I do in my work with those that seek me out. You can visit our website. We talk about this all the time. And we can chat if you need to deepen this. But this is a place to start.